So here in my office, I have this little Echo that I'm dealing with. It's getting better as I put more stuff in here and everything. But I have these canvases that I put on the wall over the futon that has a nice beach scene on it. And it's just kind of boring to me. So I'm going to try to dress it up here a little bit. I have an idea. I want to see how this is going to turn out. So let's get started on this and see if we can dress this up just a little. So now I have a faux window. Just put some shears and a curtain rod up there. What do you think? I like it personally, but and what you guys think? I just think it's kind of cute. Have you ever had one of those days where you just, for some reason, feel like laying around, not watching TV or anything, and you literally are bored and want to do something, but you don't feel like doing anything? I had that day today. I actually forced myself to go to the gym a little while ago and work out. I hadn't been for several days, only been once in the past week. I only worked out for like 30 minutes because my back was hurting and I didn't particularly feel well, just wasn't feeling it. I think my back hurting kind of had me down. And last weekend, we did the kayaking thing when Tatum was here. The day before that, we did Top Golf. So I used some muscles I don't normally use, even though I go to the gym a lot. And so I got a muscle in my back, the erector muscle. Those are the muscles that run vertically up your spine, on each side of your spine. The one on the left side is like really, really tight and sore. Been stretching and trying to work it out and try to get it, to calm down a little bit. But today I forced myself. I drank my pre-workout stuff, got my blood flowing, got to the gym. Physically, I feel a lot better now. Mentally, I do too, because we're working out just does a lot for you. It's not just physical. There's a lot of mental and emotional aspects of working out that gets, it helps the serotonin levels and everything. So, just kind of getting back into it. I think this week will be a lot better for me to get back to the gym 3 times this week and pound it out. Anyway, I was thinking about, while I was working out today, I was thinking about a post that I made on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, and I got quite a few people who liked that post. And the post said that sometimes you cannot save an employee. And what I meant by that is that sometimes, as a business owner or a manager, you have employees who have problems that really just can't be overcome, that you have to deal with, you have to work through. We keep people around way longer than we should sometimes in a job, while other employees are wondering what the heck you're doing, why you haven't fired that person. And it's because we care. We hate to let people go. We really care about people. I've always said that if you're a business owner, that you should be more or less treating your business like it's your family, and your employees like they're your children to a degree, because you should defend them, because they depend on you and your business for their paychecks and benefits, maybe the welfare of their entire family. And you should be willing to defend that at all costs. And that means if someone's attacking you on social media, if there's a threat from competition or whatever the threats are, if you do a SWOT analysis, a strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, and you look at those threats, you need to be willing to defend all of your employees in your business against those threats, to take care of them. And sometimes we have an employee who, and I've done this not just in my previous company, but previous other companies I've owned before that, all the way back to when I was in management, and even watched it when I was just an employee many years ago. And that is that some people, it seems like, the description we always had was, it was like their life was too busy for work. too complicated for work, because no matter what happened, they always had bad things happen to them. It seems like they almost like they have a dark cloud over their head. Most of it is related to their decision making a lot of times, because their decisions and the people they hang around with, there's a saying that says you are the sum total of every decision you've ever made in your life, and that's where you're at today. So if you've made good decisions that make progress, bad decisions that take you backwards, you add all that up, that's where you're at today. And the people you hang around with influence that. There's a lot of different aspects to it, and there's always employees that no matter what, they struggle. Either they just can't make things happen, they think that they're just victimized somehow by the system, and it makes it tough. And we care about people regardless of whether employees admit it or believe it or not. Most small, medium business owners and most management people, they all care about people. And we hate to let someone go because we know what the impact's going to be on them. Sometimes we keep people around longer than we should in hopes that things are going to correct themselves and get better. Most of the time they don't, unfortunately, and you end up just reaching where you have to let them go. Two things happen when that happens. Actually, three things. One, all your other employees are watching, and they see and they wonder why the heck you haven't fired that person, and they're telling themselves, if that was me, they'd have fired me a long time ago. And that probably isn't true for most cases, because they would probably get the benefit of the doubt and the attempts at help, just like anyone else. But the second and third things that happen, one is I've never seen or known anyone who went through that situation that once they let the employee go or make the change, that they did not say, I wish I'd have done it sooner. They always say that. I wish I'd have done it sooner. I should have taken care of that before now. And sometimes they have to talk to other employees and apologize for not taking care of it sooner. The second thing that happens, I've never heard anyone not say that, but I've also never heard anyone say they regretted the decision once they did it. So those three things: employees watching, the regret of not doing it sooner, and not regretting doing it at all. The final decision. So you can't keep, you can't drag your company and your employees down for just one person or a particular type of employee. We had a lot of employees in my former company. I think when we left, we had 140 or so employees across the three companies, and we're doing something like 20. I think in 2020 we probably did around 25 to 28 million, maybe 25 million across the three companies, and we remember we did that in just a little bit less than, in less than 3.5 years, well under 3.5 years, we hit 22 million in sales in one company. That is a rapidly growing, aggressively growing company. And when that happens, there's a lot of challenges. I talked about that in the video the other day about problem solving and what kind of problems growing that fast brought with it that had to be resolved as you went along. And then I started thinking about what are all the other challenges. Whatever the future holds for me and whatever I do, I'm going to face a lot of the challenges that I faced already before. The advantage is I'll know how to handle most of them, or even see them coming, or take steps to make sure they don't hit me the next time. The employees is always a concern. Employees are all over the spectrum. You have everyone from the greatest employee you could imagine to the guy you hired who didn't make it to lunchtime and he just walked out and went home because he didn't like the job and didn't want to tell you. Or we had employees who would work for 2 weeks, 2 full weeks, get one paycheck and quit just because they needed the cash to get them by or something. I don't know. I never understood that mentality. But there's a lot about not being productive that I don't understand when it comes to people in society. But I always wanted to keep certain things out of the business and away from the employees because it just causes problems. I used to listen to a talk radio show out of Boston when I was a teenager. One of the things that I learned was in AM radio. A lot of people, younger people don't even know what AM radio is probably, but AM radio at nighttime, you can listen to stations that are much farther away than during the daytime. The atmosphere, the layer of the atmosphere, it's either the stratosphere or the ionosphere, that at nighttime it goes up when the earth is cool, and it allows a larger reflection angle for the signals, for the AM radio signals. So I could listen to this talk radio show out of Boston when I lived in West Virginia. The guy had three topics he would never allow on his show: religion, politics, and abortion. The reason is those three are very personal decisions for each person, and you could waste an entire radio show or a week or a month of radio shows talking about any of those three topics, and you would never resolve anything or get anywhere. So I like to keep those out of the business so that, to keep people focused on their jobs, avoid conflicts, personality conflicts, and bickering and arguing, all those things. It's tough. It's really tough. Especially the last few years, there's just been so much social issues going on in the world that people are on edge, and some of them like to argue and fight about it. But anyway, employees were always a challenge and a concern. The other concerns in the business were that rapid growth and resolving problems and making sure that nothing happened that would stymie the business. I used to call the business the beast, and I'd say whatever the beast needs, we feed it. And we bent over backwards to do whatever we needed to make the business work well. And when it comes to challenges or things that you worry about, everyone is different. Everyone has different skill sets, different focuses. Whether it's, whether your concerns, if you have a small or medium business, maybe a business that's been around for years, or maybe you're thinking about starting a business, you're going to have a lot of different things you worry about. And I'd like to know what those are. So in the comments below, or I made a post on my TroyTube Facebook page, and I'll put the link in the video description down below directly to that post. I'd like for everyone to comment there if they can, but if not, just comment on this video. I'd like to know what your top 3 to 5 concerns are with your business, regardless of whether you have a business now, how small or large it is, or if you're even contemplating starting a business. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's in crafting, if it's an IT services company, whatever it is. I'd like to know what your concerns are. Try to keep it specific to your needs and your business needs, though. Don't give me something broad like you're concerned that the economy isn't very good right now, or the stock market's down, and you're afraid your business isn't going to live or succeed because of those kind of factors. The last time we went through a recession, I had left my company back then, and I went into consulting and was doing quite well doing consulting for investors who were buying medical companies. And that business dried up overnight almost, because there was a lot of changes in taxes and different things that people pulled back, quit investing, quit buying companies and things, and lost a lot of that consulting business. But tell me about things that you're concerned about, whether or not you can do, or things that might hit you and damage your business. So examples would be employees, marketing, maybe supply chain, cost of goods. Supply chain and cost of goods have become a problem in the last 2 years. Whether the competition, and tell me in at least a couple of sentences on each of those 3 to 5 things you're going to give me. Give me a 2 or 3 sentences explanation of why that concerns you. I'd like to know what everyone thinks. I like to hear what everyone's concerns are. Maybe I can give you some advice. I don't know. But I think it will be interesting to see what everyone's concerned about when it comes to their business. Everyone's different. Everyone has different skills. Obviously I've learned to do marketing pretty well. The IT skills and services and things like that are second nature to me. I don't worry about any of those things. The employees is always a concern, but I've dealt with it so much over the years that I kind of know how to handle most of it and don't worry too much about it. It's just kind of a pain to deal with sometimes because people are unpredictable is the problem. What would concern me more than anything right now is probably cost of goods and supply of products, I think. But tell me what your concerns are. And I'd love to hear this from as many people as possible. Again, whether you have a small business, medium, large business, whether it's been around for a year or 10 years, or if you're thinking about starting a business, what scares you? What do you think is a competition? What do you think are your things that you are worried about that are really kind of unknowns? If you know all the details, you're usually not worried about them because you know what to do. But when you don't know things like, hey, what's the competition like? Or what happens if someone opens a store down the street for me? What happens if they raise minimum wage to $15 an hour? My business model can only support $13 an hour employees. I'm going to have to raise my prices. Whatever the cases are. I'd love to hear this from people. I'd love to hear from as many people as possible. If you've even thought about starting a business, what held you back? What are the top 3 to 5 things that held you back? I'd love to hear all this from as many people as I can. So again, either comment in the video comments down below this video or in the video description. Click the link to my post on my TroyTube page and comment there and let me know what you think, because I think this will be an interesting conversation and I'd love to hear from some people.